welcome in this new video. So today I will show to you what I did with the new the Rite of the Spring with the Orchestral Tools version. So let me go through. First of all, I wanted to give a look at how I structure my template, because of course all of this is about having a structured template. It's so much easier if you start from a good structured template instead of building everything new. So here actually what I'm using is the flow template, which you can see on the description of the video, the link. This is a product which I created and I'm selling on the website on the link below. So it is made of this Cube-based project, this Vienna template with a lot of libraries from Spitfire Audio, Native Instruments, Cinematic Studio, and of course of Orchestral Tools. Everything is connected from here in Cubase, so everything is out of the box, ready to use. And the cherry on the cake with this application, which is built on with open stage control. So through this application here, actually you don't need to look any inside Vienna or Cubase. So for example, let's put it, I'm hiding everything, this is not track anymore. I'm showing, I click on this button and I will just show track where there is content, or for example you might want to search for yeah, let me see, for example, I want to see something from my Berlin Woodwinds Soloist 1. So you click on this button here and you get all the libraries, of course, with the content which is already there. Let me just remove that, and this will just push you through that libraries alone. So Berlin Woodwinds, or maybe let's Soloist 1, or maybe even you just want piccolo flute. So you click here and here you got all the piccolo flutes which are in the template. So it's a very nice way to control, and of course if you click on a track, then you will see where is it? You will see here the name of the track that you clicked. You will see all the articulations. You can switch and control the articulations from here, and you can also see all the quick controls, the microphones. In that case there are no microphones, and VST controllers which are there. But it's not the objective to discuss in details that. So check on the site if you are interested. There is a lot of video, there is a lot of material which describe how it works. So today I just wanted to show you how I made it with the new Orchestral Tools version of the Rite of Springs. Of course, it's just the first 7 minutes. If you didn't listen to this yet, again, go in the description, there is a video. There is a link to the video, so go and listen to it. So with this button here that I'm clicking now, we will show everything where there is already content. Let me hide anything else, so hide everything and show just one. Okay. So again, like I said, this is a Cubase project. The Cubase project is directly linked to the Vienna one, Vienna Ensemble Pro, where you can see that everything is already there and loaded, all the libraries, so it's just like ready to play. So to start with that one, just let me give you a bit of workflow, how I work. So as I say, template all the time, starting from this one. And then actually I'm using a lot the quick controls functionalities to record automations. Actually I have a Fader Master Pro with 8 faders, so I manually use this, and what I do is that I record automation. So if now I do show all used automation, here it is, you will see that all the automations comes here. I prefer this method compared to editing the automations here, because it gives me like really an end-to-end view. I can see everything from here, so it's very simple, and I can compare volumes. And what I always do is like, okay, you have the track there. You always have like the CC1, the CC11. So the CC1 is the modulation. This is actually what gives the instruments from piano to forte. The volume, which I also play with, and then other things like in this case the breath or the the variations, the vibrato, stuff like that. But always the first one is the CC1, the second one is the CC11. But again, all this comes also automatically set up with Flow, the template, because all the quick controls are already been predefined there. So there is nothing even to do on this one. So then what I do is that I start to first of all I record all the tracks, and then I start to work per block, like the first like 3 or 4, 5 measures, and I set them up, I adjust the volumes between the different instruments, and I go on. For this specific one, I actually took as a reference a version of the Rite of Springs made by the London Symphony Orchestra. You can see it here. So let's say that the MIDI was already there. I still had to make a lot of quick modifications to fix it. But actually I started already from a MIDI, because you might have seen it also in the past. I've already made other attempts with other libraries to build the Rite of Springs. So the MIDI was already there. What I did then is to actually align the tempo of my music with the one from this performance here. So in this case, actually what I could do is really have a side-to-side comparison between what I'm doing and my reference. So now if I open the tempo track, you can see that the tempo track is like a kind of a mess, but that's absolutely normal because it's made to be synced with the reference track. So how do I do that? This is, I think it's a critical point in this, if you want to work this way. So of course what you have to do, you solo the reference track, you look at the tempo track here, you enable the click, and you start and you click play. So let's start from here. So then it's just about moving those things in order to match with the reference. Voila, so you can see maybe this piece is not the best, but let's go for example here. Voila, so you can see. So this is something that allows me to have my MIDI performance in perfect sync with the reference that I have, so that then at any moment, so let me disable the clock, I can do this, listen to my performance and then go to the other. And so by doing this, actually I can have continuously a reference of how, for example, the different instruments are balancing each other. So it's very, very important when you want to, in that type of work, of course, when you want to do a mock-up. If it's your own composition, you don't need about that, you don't care about that. So then first things I did, the MIDI was there, then I worked out the entire tempo track so that it was in perfect sync with the reference that I had. And then what I do is that, for example, I say, okay, I start from 1 to 5. So well, in that case, I know that it starts from 3 to 10, and I say, okay, now I'm gonna look at those first 10 bars, and I'm gonna make them sound almost the same. And so I go on with instruments per instrument. And then you move and you move and you move. And then as soon as you have like finished, it's never finished, it's just the first iteration. Of course, then you have to go to a second iteration and maybe eventually to a third iteration, and so on and so on. What I hardly suggest at this moment in time is to get out reverb. So don't put reverb at this moment. Work with like the basic microphones that you want to use, and so that you will listen more, and then of course use the headset, because it's really a work where you really need to listen to the balance between each instrument, so you really need to have good listen to what you are doing. One thing that I wanted to discuss now is also about how I have set up the microphones, so which microphones I am using. So as I said, in this case I'm mostly using Orchestral Tools libraries, and you know that Orchestral Tools libraries comes with a lot of microphones, but also comes with a limitation, that is, you cannot automate the microphones. It's really a pity. So why do you want to automate microphones? Because especially in this type of tracks, there are moments where there is a solo, there is an alto flute, which you really want to hear. It's like it's playing, the whole orchestra is playing, but you want to hear the alto flute. So what you have to do is that you play with the closed microphones. And how did I achieve that? So in Vienna, I just actually used the functionality of the sign player to route microphones to different outputs. So you can see I did always the same. So I'm just, let me show you for the woodwinds, it's more complete. The pattern is always the same. So I have whatever, flute 2. I have made myself a mix of two microphones. So in this case is the ORTF with -5 decibel and the AB at 0 decibel. So I've created this microphone, which is mostly standard in all the sounds, and this is routed to the normal 1-2 out, which is then going to the normal here. There is a bass flute, which is going there. Then you can see it from here, it's going to the bass flute. Then actually I'm also having the surround, which I'm routing to the 2930, and then I'm also having the spot 1 and spot 2. So those are closed microphones, which I am mixing like spot 1 -10, spot 2 -10. So you can see it from here. No, sorry, spot 1 at 0, spot 2 -10. And this one is routed to yet another one. Then in Vienna Ensemble Pro, what you do is that you say, okay, from this one, I'm taking the surround, and I'm routing all the surround mixes, microphone, sorry, to one single bus here, which is called surround. So then in the end, what I have out of here, it's one single output where all the surround microphones of all the instruments are. And then what I'm doing also with the other one with the close, I'm actually routing to another specific close for the flute. And then I'm just doing the same things for all the instruments. So the close is not for all the instruments. For example, I don't need to have a close microphones for trombone or tuba. I just have the surround and the AB. But in those, especially in the woodwinds, all of them have a close routed also, because the woodwinds in this piece really needs space, really needs to be heard at certain moments. So for example, here you can see on the oboe, so you have the surround, and then you have the close, which is going to a bass, which is called oboe close, and then oboe here. How then this is worked out in Cubase? So let me show you the mixer. In the mixer here, you can see also the mixer is mostly, everything is set up already in the template. So you have like the normal flute, where actually the AB and ORTF mix go. And then you have also the flute close, which is actually where all the close microphones of the flute will go, so that I can work with it independently. And you can see that I am routing them to the right or to the left. depending where I want the sound to come from. And then I have the wall woodwind surround, which is there. And then you can imagine that I also have my brass surround, which is here. And then you can, of course, there is also the string surround, which is here. And then all these surrounds instruments, groups, they go into one big surround, so that then in the end, in this track here, it's like having all the surround microphones to routed. So this actually helped me to mix also then the sound of the room from the original register recording of the library. Then all the close and then all these other roots microphones are there. And then I'm actually applying some reverb. And as you can see, the reverb, of course, it's applied only to the all the microphones, which are typically the AB and so the one that don't have too much room sounds, for example, the AB sound mix. And then the close mix, I'm applying also reverb, but much less. So with a -10 cent gain, so that you can really hear the real sound of the instrument. And to now give you an example there, when I'm when I have my in Cubase my microphones there, so you can see that if I go, now to the instance that actually is linked to my Vienna Ensemble Pro 4, where actually the Berlin woodwinds are. You can see that from here that there are all these microphones which are routed there. So you have like the standard flute one, but of course you have the solo one. So here the name, you can see this is the bassoon close. And you can see, for example, when everything is starting, this microphone is very pushed up because it says this is, I want to hear the solo, and then goes down and then goes up and down. And so then there is a continuous work that is done to let those instruments more heard depending on what they are playing. That is crucial. Without that, this will never sound good. So enough talking. Now let's go a bit more deep dive into the composition, and let's start, for example, by looking at this one, which is the bassoon. For the bassoon, after having tried out a lot with the Orchestral Tools bassoons, I decided to not use it, and I'm actually using the Cinematic Studio woodwinds only for the solo part. And why? It's not that the Orchestral Tools was not sounding good, but I didn't like the sound that it had, especially in this very high registry of the instruments, which is quite unusual. I felt this, I like it much more, this one, which has more nasal sounds. So here it is. I will now play it, and I will show you also the articulations which are used. So you can see how from time to time you have to, this marcato sounds really great. So here, for example, it's all legato marcato. Voila, so as you have seen here, there is a lot of automation which is done for the modulation, expression, but also the vibrato. Here, for example, let's just look at the very first one. So, and I will first let you listen to the original track. So you can hear like how the vibrato increases and the volume decreases. Voila, so you can really see that the vibrato enters mostly at the end, and that's actually the one that I managed to get. voila, which sounds very similar to the original reference one. So say that, then I think it's now interesting if I show you also a bit the other instruments in that case. So here you have the horns. It's a very complex track, so it's very hard to go too much into details of everything here, but maybe let's just go like that. Here then you have the horns, sustained soft articulations, and then you have here the clarinet come, and this clarinet is supposed to be the piccolo clarinet here. The English horn, and let's look at the microphones automation, which we discussed before. So yeah, you can see now the bassoon doesn't have any more close microphones, but the clarinet here starts. You can hear. So in this moment there is the piccolo clarinet, the EB clarinet here, which really needs to get out of everything. So to do that, again, the only way is to use the dose the closed microphone. So this is actually what you see here is happening, the clarinet. So the volume goes up. Here, sorry. So here, the volume went up and then it goes down again. And now it's the oboe that goes up and then it goes down again. And this is all the automation which is really needed for your close microphones to make these sounds very very close. Because if you just don't do that, it's like, yes, it's like, okay, maybe it's gonna work, but it's like having all the instruments playing together, but that's not what you hear when you hear a professional orchestral classical recordings. It's like you really feel like it's a small instrument, it's just a flute, but you really hear it very close to you. And this is not because he's playing very hardly or is very forte, but it's just because there is the right close microphones which is mixed in it. So just let's continue. Here, this is lovely. This is the bass clarinet which is doing this. Look at that one. And then you can see really that it's always like you staccato, but also staccatissimo, but also portato short. So the three sounds really different. And if you just would put staccato everywhere, it wouldn't be as good as that. So really, it's key to be able to use all the articulations that you have. And that's something that with Flow, the orchestral template, all those articulations are already there. So you just have to select the right one. And now I think this is nice to, if I show it to you, like how it's, okay. So this is only one flute. This is with two flutes. This is with three flutes. Also the alto flute. And with the cor English horn. I have to say that one of the most complex parts that to build is when like the orchestra is all playing piano. It's much easier when like everything is loud, but when like there is a lot of piano playing instruments, this is the most critical one where you really need to program it well, or you will hear it that is not good enough. And just to make a comparison, so let's do that. Let's hear how it sounded like with the original one. So in this part here, so you can see at a certain moment you cannot even distinguish between one and the other. Of course you can, but their sounds very good, very similar. So here, this is, let's put this flute here. With repetitions, triplet here. And now here is where actually you start to have also the strings. So for the strings, actually it's very complex, the setup, because you have strings one, of course you have all this the violins that is needed, then you have the divisi. So you have violins one, divisi, so you have divisi for all the different sections of strings. But then you also have solo instruments. So for example here, as you can see, this one is being played by a solo cello. So if we put it, which is, it sounds completely different if you would have ignored that, and if you would have just made it play by the full section, it wouldn't have sounded like that. So then actually you say, yeah, but it is very, how do you hear it? But again, this is just about using the closed microphones. Yeah, you can see from here the closed microphones is there. First chair is at 0 decibel, so it's quite a lot. And this is the way you can achieve also to let one single cello which is playing to make it be heard in the context of the entire orchestra. So let's go on. Maybe, you know, I will hide the automation because it's really too much. This one, the piccolo clarinet has a very key role in this composition, so it really takes leading parts. Again here, I suppose that if we would go to the okay, and now I have hidden all the automation. Show all used automation. If we will go to the microphones, we will hear, like you can see here, yeah, the EP clarinet jump actually to about plus 2 decibel. So it really stands out compared to the rest. So let's hear the reference. Reference. MIDI. Reference. MIDI. Yeah. This is in the end the type of work. It's really about working bar per bar and ensuring that the dynamics and the balance between all the instruments is set right in all the compared to your reference. One thing here I wanted to say, which is yeah, okay, now I wanted to also show the woodwinds, but first I wanted to talk about the piccolo trumpet here. Yes, in this case actually the piccolo trumpet is supposed to be mute, but there is no mute piccolo trumpet available. So what I have done is that, okay, let's put it maybe like this with the mixer. So what I've done, where is it? Here it is. Oops. So what I have done here is that I have created here I applied an EQ which makes these sounds like a muted trumpet, even if it's not a muted trumpet. So this is the type, the EQ that I applied there. Yeah, so this is just because there was no mute, but it sounds almost like a mute trumpet. And there is also some automation which is implemented to enable and disable this neutron 4 equalizer, because at a certain moment the trumpet doesn't need to be anymore mute. Then just wanted to give a short view about these runs of the clarinets and the woodwinds in general, where mostly I am using the runs here, but again you can see with the end it's a marcato. There is really a lot of runs going on through this, so maybe let's put all the let's select all the woodwinds together, because that is where mostly runs are happening. Yep. Yep. How does it sound all together? So let me show you how does it sounds just the strings here. This is some harmonics, legato. And then how does it sound with only the brass? There is not a lot actually. Yeah, and again together. And then comes reference. The reference. The MIDI. And here we go to the next section, where actually we start with those strings spiccato, spiccato. So what I'm actually doing here, first of all, I'm using the Berlin Symphonic strings, Berlin Series strings, so mostly in spiccato. You can see that like let's say the volume is mostly the same here, and then there are those peaks. Let me show actually the balance between all the different instruments. So let's start by only one, and I will add the other. So this is violins one, here. Violins one, violas, cello, and basses. And I really worked a lot to ensure that there was the right balance between those 4 instruments. So that was, I must say, I must admit, this was one part where I spent quite a few hours. And then actually, when there are those peaks, there are also the brass playing the horns. So here it is there are 8 horns which are playing all together. So with a staccato. Okay, sorry, solo. But actually you barely hear them in the mix when they are together with the strings. So listen to that. Yeah, and another things actually that for this piece it was for me very important that I wanted these strings spiccato to hear very close, really like in front of your face. That's why, like already explained, for the rest here there are, here it is. So this is those are the close microphones. You can see that it's like going up and down and up, -3, then it goes down again, down, and then it will go up again. Yeah, very important. So here we heard that there are cool things that which are happening there. So let's listen to them. I love those. This is like the flutes and the clarinets. Just so simple but so good. One important things for the trills, I actually had to work with the contact version, because I didn't find in a sign player version the orchestrator where actually they let you choose between second minor, second major, or third trills. I don't know, I didn't find that. I see that they only have the second minor in sign player. I hope that they are gonna add it. So then I actually had to put in it also a contact instance and use the trills orchestrator articulation, and in that case what I wanted is it was a second major, so which was not possible with the sign player. Okay, let's listen to those trumpets. This is just so good also what they do. Jumping up and down, so good. And there again, spiccato. Bassoons, here they are. So as you can see, I never use actually the like bassoon A2, A3. I'm always really splitting each instrument. So here, for example, is the same because 2 bassoons are doing exactly the same things. So you can see how important it is that the velocity is not always the same every time. So because when you play an instrument, the velocity is never the same. So this gives a lot of realism. And here the trumpet. trombone, sorry. Let's look at this. And here it comes the percussion. So first of all we have these horns playing very strong, and tuba and percussion with timpani and bass drums. And let me just hide all automation so it's easier to follow up. So here the strings start to become complex because you have a lot of different divisi that comes into play. Sometimes like 8 violins playing different things at the same time. Again, here you have an orchestrator because of a second major trills that has to be done. Let's play only strings. So here again, it's one of those moments where you suddenly have to go from like some kind of forte to pianissimo. So look how I achieved that. Yeah. Yeah, you can see it better like here. So at this moment in time, look how it goes down for all the instruments. So mostly here you have some trills on the bassoon, all the woodwinds that goes down, but also the same happens with the strings here, going down, going down, going down, going down. So the effect is quite good. So, and here there are actually a lot of things that goes down with strings, but they are even barely hearable. So for example this spiccato, let's go. But that's good, that's how it has to be. You don't have to hear everything. So it's by playing all together that then you hear the entirety. Con legno. So this effect con legno is really barely audible, but it's there. That's the importance. And this comes the horn 1. Very simple, that one, mostly used with legato. Again, here you can see like the difference between staccatissimo and staccato and marcato sometimes. The trumpet is the mute trumpet. I love here the alto flute. Again, here of course there is a close microphone so that goes up for the alto flutes because you really need to hear it. Yeah, you can see here like how many articulations are in it. So it's mostly between legato, long, staccato and portato short, and it's a continuous change between them. There is a continuous change in the modulation and also in the vibrato when there are long notes. let's look at the closed microphones again here. Look at the alto flute. It's going even to 3 decibels, so even very up for a closed microphones. Here, you might have been very much tempted to take these trumpets and make them sound like very strong, but I loved the version from the London Symphony Orchestra, where actually those trumpets really come from very far, and you can barely hear them, and then they grow and they grow. Let's go like that. Let's listen now to the version from the LCO, and then let's go with mine. Yeah, so you heard. Now let's go with this. And then you have these amazing parts with the strings, so it's just so good. Let me show it to you, all the instruments which are there. And that's one. Let's add the second violin, divisi. Yep, let's add the violins to divisi. Pizzicato. The second divisi of violins too. Violas, mostly adding some pizzicato. The divisi from the violas. Cellos. Cellos divisi too. And basses, which I think is the last one. Wow, it's just great. Okay, and then here you have the woodwinds that comes back. Piccolo flute. Again, look at how many articulations are there. This is key. This is really key. This hautboy here, which are doing some basic rhythm. And there are also those contrabassoon together with a trombone, with a horn. I think, yes, that's it, which are doing this nice. Oh, where I am. Oh, sorry, I'm lost. That's what I wanted to do. Da, da, da. And here it goes. Let's do the following. So first let's listen to just the woodwind section here. Here I'm not using close microphones at all, because it's just an ambient sound. Yeah, so then look at here, let's look at the brass. Very important also, there are some glissandi here that you can hear from the horns, and the way I'm doing this is using the horn glissandi. So I'm using the Berlin brass SFX sound, and so here it is. Which sounds perfectly exactly what they had to do. And now let's listen to just the strings. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you can hear there is really a lot going on, and of course there is also percussion in this one, but it's just some timpani doing cool stuff. Really strong. Let's listen to the entire things together. Okay, from here. Yep. All right. So that's it, and I wanted also to add one key things about my PC. So you can ask yourself what I'm using to actually play all this. So I'm actually using an A9 13900K with 128 gigabyte of RAM. So you can, for example, look at the performance here. This is, you can see at this moment I have 62 giga in RAM and 65 cached. Actually, I don't know why he put that in the cache while there is still RAM available. I don't understand, because when you load it first, you really get like 110 gigabyte in RAM, but it's fine. I don't have any issue. I'm using a lot of SSD. I'm using mostly NVMe drives, so very fast drives, and the CPU is there. So i9 13900K, so you can see that when it all plays It's not bother at all, so we are at below 27% of utilization, and I'm not doing any overclock. I'm using a sample rate of 124, and I'm using an RME HDSP interface. Oh yeah, 50%, 55. Voila, that's it. The peak was at 55% of the usage of the CPU with 62 gigabyte in RAM, and this is just done with only one PC, so where everything is run Cubase, VN Ensemble Pro, and all the samples are there. So yes, today you can do it. Today you can be able to have one single PC for playing such type of monster tracks. So many people ask me if I could share the MIDI file, and of course I will. So you will find the link in the description where you can where you can get the MIDI file. And of course this is not the same as this. When I will share the MIDI files, there is still a lot of work to be done before that you get to something like that, but you can take the quest and maybe have fun with it. So I hope that you found this interesting, that you learned something. So don't hesitate to let me know if you have any question or suggestion or recommendation, something that you also would like me to show. And thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, and see you in the next video.